Good morning, botanists, or good afternoon, or good evening. I just wanted to update you about some of the updates, I guess, and just sort of talk with you about the class in general for a few minutes during this traveling video. So last week we had some really cool topics, kind of finished up talking about algae, and we really talked about this paraphyletic group Protista quite a bit. Just wanted to let you know that we will be coming back to that paraphyletic group Protista a little bit later because it's got some sort of fungal affiliates that are non-photosynthetic, and we'll be picking those up week 14, so the week right after break, with other more well-known fungi. And also, if you were interested in those topics from last week, we have some upper division classes in the botany department, like phycology, the study of algae, and microfungi, which, again, we'll go over some more taxa later in the semester that would be in microfungi as well. And yeah, something else about last week, make sure if you missed it to check out the knowledge contributors section. We had a really good one. It was highlighting Frank Shaughnessy. He of course is a great phycologist. He's done a lot of amazing research, and it's sort of very briefly summarized, at least some of it is summarized in the weekly knowledge contributors. So check out Frank Shaughnessy's little highlight in that section from last week if you missed that. It was a good one. And also wanted to just sort of thank you for your flexibility and feedback during this transitional time with class. I know you miss having Frank be part of the class. I totally miss having Frank be part of the class as well. And we do sort of have different teaching styles, I know, but really I learned a lot of the stuff that I know about botany from Frank. I really did. And also, we have the same priority in life and in teaching Botany 105, which is to cram as much botanical information into your brains as possible during these 16 weeks, 15 weeks that we have with you. So anyway, some other things, I'm sort of working on updating that glitch from last week's quiz. If you had this happen to you, sorry, there was an issue with the cyanell glaucophyte question. Get that updated here probably in the next day or two, early in the week. This week's quiz, we're sort of going back to the old style, but we still have new quiz questions. So there's going to be questions with pictures, new types of questions where there's multiple correct answers. It'll be clearly stated when that's the case. Little drop-down menu questions, and yeah, but it's going to be sort of the older style. I think that you'll like it better. I actually like that better too. And just so you know, these types of questions that you see on the quizzes, the weekly quizzes, these are the types of questions that you can expect to see on our final exam. So, reminder, there's a final exam at the end of the semester now instead of an essay. And we'll be preparing for this final exam by taking these quizzes, by working on these lab assignments. And we'll also have a sort of, we might have sort of a mock exam at some point. We'll definitely have a study guide. This will all be coming out early Thanksgiving break, so you'll have break to work on them. More on that later. And what else do I have to tell you? Oh yeah, you may have already noticed this, but I did cave and decide to make the quiz due date, or the deadline, midnight now instead of 5 p.m. on Thursdays. So first of all, I moved the quizzes to Thursday. That was new news last week. Now the quizzes are due at midnight on Thursday, which makes sense for a lot of you, I know. So I'll spare you with my reasoning for wanting it to be 5. I have caved and it will be midnight. And just so you know, sort of, we'll always have the CoolBot stuff and the knowledge contributors, the lab, the virtual lab. We'll have that posted sort of by the end of the weekends. I know I had probably said that, and last week I might have said that that'll all be posted by Saturday mornings. We'll do our best to have that posted as early in the weekend as possible. But always depend on at least having the lecture content posted on Saturday mornings. Now, this week I was having some technical issues, but normally, hopefully, I don't have those. So you can expect at least a lot of content on Saturday mornings. But the quizzes and the assignments are not available until Monday mornings. That'll be consistent. Okay. So the lab assignments, we're doing our best to sort of think of something that will get you to learn a bunch of material and get it all in one place. But I also expect you to really be reaching out on your own to look up terms that you've never heard before and or never seen before, and maybe at least using the textbook if you have that available, but also using other resources, the internet, and whatever else you have available to you. To, like, sort of in your lab notebook. I sort of imagine you all having your lab notebooks sort of with lots of drawings and diagrams and labels and highlighters, and that's a good way to really learn this material, especially if it was sort of brute force memorization style quizzes. Well, we'd be requiring you to remember, some of these big phylum names that you're about to learn this week, like Anthocerophyta and Hepatophyta. Well, a good way to memorize those is to just sort of rewrite that name 10 times or 20 times over and over again. And something happens with muscle memory in the brain, and you can memorize it if you put enough time into it. But that is one nice thing about having virtual quizzes, is that you have your nice notes available to you. And that's a good way to just sort of retrieve that information. I think that that's a great advantage. But I hope that you're taking good notes. That is all. That's my little note pep talk to you. This week we have some relatively obscure plants, small things like mosses, and larger things like ferns. But we're not going to get to the like things with woody cones till next week, and then the week after that we'll get to the flowering plants. And then it's Thanksgiving break, and then we have fungi, and then it's review, and then our class is over. It's crazy how close we are to the end. So with that, I will leave you, and I hope you enjoyed this week's material. Bye.